In this Patreon requested review, I get to talk about Tool. Putting aside the amazing fact that I'm being supported and encouraged to talk about this band, I get to talk about one of the albums that introduced me to Tool and helped me understand that Tool was more than just the song Sober and Prison Sex. Not only was Lateralus proof that Tool could do no wrong and that their music would stand the test of time across decades, but it also started the trend of albums not being released for years between each other. Even today in 2015, we have been holding our breath and desperate for new Tool music. The exact same feeling was shared leading up to 2001's Lateralus. My experience with Lateralus came back when I was 15. The album had just came out and I was about to go on a 20-hour road trip with my family, so I picked up Lateralus as something to listen to. I can't imagine having picked a better album to zone out to while driving across a blank highway for almost an entire day. While there are many interpretations of the story in Lateralus and debates on how you should listen to the tracks in a certain order, one constant remains the same. Lateralus is something special. It is far beyond just another album with good bridges and transitions accompanied with Maynard James Keenan doing what he does best. Through 14 tracks and almost 80 minutes of material, you are given a completely new universe of music to dive into. You are carried by bass that never lets up and guitar riffs that shock you awake and never let you sit still. To put it in one way, at one point many people were upset that Tool was taking so long to complete the new album, and then as soon as they heard Schism on radio play before the album was released, everyone agreed that it was worth the wait. It is difficult to find any flaws or nitpicks within Schism. From the opening bass to the elevation and intensity, from MJK doing that almost anthem-like chant, everything about this song screams the identity of Tool in 6 minutes 47 seconds. Lyrically, it's fascinating. The guitar and drums sound completely fluid, and Schism won Tool the Grammy for Best Metal Performance in 2002. I love songs like this. They start with something unique, take their time, and gradually build into something monumental. Many of the tracks in Lateralus, the album, share this quality. There is pacing and time spent on songs that other bands couldn't even comprehend of piecing together. Lateralus, the album, has many different interpretations, ranging from the holy gift phenomenon to a mathematician slowly unraveling in his real life due to his studies. Countless articles and fan theories have been posted about its meaning, but what I find even more interesting is how the songs are written in detail and how songs like the title track are performed. Lateralus not only sounds amazing and gives a great deep rhythm along with Keenan's alternating loud and melodic vocals, but this song is also mathematically in rhythm with the Fibonacci sequence, meaning that the syllables expressed between breaks all follow a rhythm. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and then backwards to 5, 3, 2, 1, 1. When seen visibly, the pattern reflects a repeating spiral. At times, the pattern stops completely mid-sequence and then begins at 1, but it never changes out of the same numerical pattern, meaning that the verse stops at a 5-syllable phrase, the spiral breaks and then starts over at 1. All of this while keeping the same 9/8/7 time signature. My point in explaining all this in the syllables, as well as comparing it to the lyrics of To Swing on the Spiral, is to really ask how many bands could produce something like this. Tracks like these aren't songs that a bunch of friends get together at Starbucks until they have something to fit a 10-track album that record labels will sign off. Lateralus, the song, just like the album, is completely deliberate to present something unique and unforgettable. For many people who confuse Tool as this heavy metal machine, Disposition might be the big eye-opening track to prove just what they are capable of. Listening to the chords strummed in natural progression and notes behind MJK not so much singing as he is just breathing in tune make another element in an already jam-packed album. Within the hour plus that this album covers, there is a wide range of intensity and speed, all without sacrificing identity or focus. Every track feels like it belongs on this album and that it serves a purpose. Both the heavy and the light connect with each other to contribute to an album that is much bigger than most releases from 2001. I could go on for hours on trying to explain the pieces of the puzzle that Lateralus present in the story, and eventually cause myself to go insane from trying to reorder the tracks into a sequence I thought appropriate, But in reality, this album is something that should be experienced in the way that Tool presents it. Raw, clear, and eye-opening. Overall, Lateralus may not be as iconic as Undertow or Anima, but it proves that Tool are capable of much more than any radio single can explain. This album is the music that inspires people to play instruments for themselves and to try and become more creative than a standard rock formula. And just like Tool, Lateralus is much more than standard. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Lateralus was a requested album review from one of my patrons on Patreon. If you'd like to help keep Rot going, then you can also support me on Patreon by clicking the YouTube card or link below. Even if it's just $1 or $2 a month, it helps tremendously. Please remember to subscribe if you haven't, and you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Rocked Reviews.